Yeah.
All
Right.
right, Tony. Just want to ask you a basic question. What enlightenment is?
Well, as I'm not enlightened, I don't know. But but to me, I think I can imagine my interpretation of enlightenment is not, is what I'm always on about moksha or becoming a mukta or having no ego. So to me, what a lot of people say, oh well, they've become aware of something and they've got some glimmer of spirituality or understanding. That's not enlightenment. Enlightenment is realizing that you are not a person. That is enlightenment. And once you realize you're not a person, you don't have an ego, that to me is enlightenment. It's actually losing the ego itself. That's what I would call enlightenment. Anything up to that stage is not enlightenment. It's like Vivekananda says, there's only one true religion in the world, and that's realization. All the rest is just practice.
So, a lot of people that are claiming to be enlightened are not.
I would say, well, according to what Ramana says, and I can only say this because I'm quoting a mukta. I won't quote if it's not a mukta. I discount what they say because they haven't experienced it, right? And they don't, or they're not in that state of mind where they've got what they call a purified vijnana maya kosha, or they're talking with the universal mind, right? So he says that there's a level of non-duality above this that you can reach, which is deceiving. And people think they have arrived because they've reached this level of non-duality, right? But in actual fact, it's not real. It's not real. It's not real realization. They still have a residual ego. It's like having a meditation of what they call savikalpa samadhi, where you are in samadhi or you are in in a samadhic state, but there's still it's still within actual creation or material. Then you go to the course the nirvikalpa, where you are in union with the nirguna, the beyond all the material, but you come back again, and then you get the sahaja where it's permanent. Sahaja nirvikalpa. So
What is you talk about Shakipat?
Shaktipat, I don't. Well, you see, this is another. You got to figure out belief systems. I mean, most of what I say is like regurgitated stuff that I've read from the muktas and everything else, right? And I take stuff and I think, well, that sounds okay. Well, that doesn't sound right. But if it's a mukta, I usually take it literally. And if they and Shaktipat is the fact that they have overcome. Well, Jesus says it. All power in the universe comes to he who has overcome. In other words, once you overcome your ego, once you're enlightened, then any power within illusion, whatever there is available to you. So Shakti is the goddess which uses the prana or K prana to build and to create the universe, because there's only prana and karma. There only ever is prana and karma, and so without karma, there's no gunas. So, and without the prana, there isn't anything at all. So prana is the shakti. And that shakti that's available. A mukta can actually use the energy that's coming through them to short circuit the problem. They can give you realization because prana will always overcome karma, because karma is a memory. It's made out of out of prana. So if you've got a mukti that can or a guru that can actually clean your own mind sheets, right, for you, energize you and help you, that's Shaktipat. You may take 10 lifetimes cleansing yourself and purifying yourself, and one glance from a mukta guru, which is called diksha or initiation, they can do it at one glance.
But there's only a handful on the planet.
Yeah, only a handful. Probably count them on two hands most. There's only a handful. I mean, Nisargadatta Maharaj, he says, using his formula of 1 in 10 understand non-duality even intellectually, never mind being realized, there's only 60,000 people on the entire planet, or 65,000, that even understand what duality is intellectually. And that's got nothing to do, that's not realization. So the other 6 billion don't understand anything at all. So when you measure this down, and out of that 65,000 that understand non-duality intellectually, only a handful, a mere handful, are going to be muktas.
Have you heard about this calibration technique?
Oh yeah.
And even Nisargadatta and Ramana came in at the same score,
Yeah.
but not a very high score.
No, I don't. That's Hawkins or something, right?
Yeah,
No, I don't.
they it's linked to like the Akashic record,
Yeah, yeah.
but I don't really have much interest in it. But I've seen the book, and a friend of mine has kind of pointed it out.
It's just twaddle. That's all. It's just more stuff.
Did you like Papaji?
Uh, I was always suspect about him. I was always suspect about him. I don't know what he was. I just know that what he said about his own gurus that he sent out, like Gangaji and Cohen and all these people, right? And he said that they were not even realised one little bit. He said he just sent them out so he can get the parasites off his back. He said so maybe they'd meet somebody who'd come back and get the real message. So I don't know.
The one thing for me that's been useful is to not hold any opinion of anyone.
The only opinion I don't have, I do have opinions. Yeah, I have opinions. My opinions are that I try, because of the fact that of the way I try and maybe it's because of the bad experiences I've had with gurus, right? That my own discrimination was not very good, and I got caught up with a phony guru for 15 years, right? I suppose that had an indelible mark on me to be more careful. Probably I was less judgmental before. I must have been, otherwise I wouldn't have got caught, right? And I became more judgmental. And so I get to a stage, but when I say judgmental, it's only that I'm measuring what it says in the Mundakya Upanishad, what it says, what Ramana says, what Nisargadatta Maharaj says, what Sri Matru Sarada and Sri Lakshmana Swami. I just take what they say, and I try and measure people by what these muktas say. And if it fits what they say in all its variations, then that's all I will do. And if it doesn't fit all that, and I see, and after a while you can, even when you've got your own ego, once you recognize your own ego and you really recognize that your body's actually possessed by a foreign entity almost, this ego is like a foreign entity. Once you, as King Parikshit, or King Janaka, once you find out that there is a thief in the palace, and you recognize the ego, because most people don't, then you tend to be able to see it in other people. And if I see it in a spiritual teacher, then I realize that this person's probably not a mukta. It's not fitting the message at all. It might very well be a mukta, but mostly they're not. And if you see that, you can see an ego playing out, then it's easier to you can easily see it. Like you see Nisargadatta Maharaj don't go anywhere. Ramana Maharishi don't go anywhere. I mean, because they were everywhere. There's nowhere to go.
What about Ramesh Balkazar?
Oh yeah, he turned out to be a phony in the end anyway. But he was only his stuff was good. When he was when he was repeating Nisargadatta Maharaj's stuff, he was great. I've got his books. But when he started going off by himself and getting into the human things, and he fell into temptation, etc., with various things, then he was off the track. So he may have been a good teacher, and there are a lot of good teachers around, and you can actually learn good things from a bad teacher. But that doesn't mean they're intermediary. They're intermediate. I mean, they're not a true guru. To me, a true guru is God. I hate to use the word God, but the universal consciousness on the inside, they represent it on the outside because they have no individualized consciousness. So
somebody like Amma?
You mean Amrita Man?
Yeah.
Amma. I've seen her twice, 3 times, And she allowed me to do Padapuja and all kinds of stuff. She's a big doubt in my mind. That's the question, because I've seen her and know and I watched her, right? And I had to discount all the people around her, and I look at her herself and the way she talks. I know she's had at least the very minimum of Savikalpa Samadhis, right? And she may very well be a mukta because nobody's going to spend all day long. She has to wear braces now because of her body's so wrecked by doing all this hugging, right? So put it this way, if she's not a mukta, right, she'll do until one comes along.